Today we're taking a look at the 2022 Revolt X80 from Bowtech. Welcome back to Mike's Archery's YouTube, and we are taking a look at the new 2022 lineup from Bowtech, and we have got the new Revolt X80. Now, this is basically the exact same bow as the Revolt X, just with an 80-pound option. And I know a lot of guys are moving in that direction because of the smooth draw cycles and the ease of drawing. They're going up in poundage, and so 80 pounds is not uncommon these days, and this is Bowtech's answer for that. So you have an 80-pound option on the Revolt X platform. Now the specs on this bow are the same as a Revolt X. So the speed is coming in at 340 feet per second. The axle to axle is at 33 inches, and the overall cam to cam length is 38.5 inches. Now the brace height on this bow is 6.5 inches, and the factory spec weight is coming in at 4.5 pounds. Now we threw it on the scale and we found it to be at 5 pounds even, and when we took those orbit dampeners off, we got it down to 4.6. So pretty close to spec weight of 4.5, but coming in just a little bit heavy. Now the draw length option on this cam is coming to you all the way from a bottom end to 26 inches out to a top end of 31-inch draw. So you can get this extra heavy poundage with a little longer draw length if you need that and want that. Now this being the Revolt X80, it only comes in one poundage option, and that is 80-pound limbs. So if that's something you want, this is the bow for you. You still have a let off of 85% on these cams, and they did keep with the standard technologies that they've had for the last several years of that DeadLock cam system, being able to adjust that paper tear and tuning right there on the limbs, and just being able to adjust it with a slight turn of your Allen wrench. You've still got that flip disc technology built into it, so you can flip this to a performance setting or that comfort setting and slide that mod to whatever draw length option you need. It is well marked on the cams and set up very nicely for those of you at home making adjustments. It's going to be really obvious where you're at and the adjustments that you need to make for that cable stop and that flip disc rotation. Now they kept with the wide limb pockets. Being a DeadLock pocket, it is stable and solid and not going to move. They also kept with their DeadLock cable containment system with that roller flex guard, giving a great feel through the draw with that roller cycle, as well as the flex guard taking the torque off of the cams, taking out the cam lean, giving you a more accurate shot. The bow also keeps with that clutch performance grip option, allowing you to change out those performance grips to a high wrist grip option, as well as multiple color options to give you the feel and look that you want out of the grip of this bow. You do have the double rest hole option there, being able to lock down your rest if you mount it on there, if there's enough bar length in there to be able to do it. It just makes for a nice system that you know nothing is going to move once you lock it in. The bow does still come with 2 orbit dampeners, then plenty of options of places to put it on the riser to give you a different feel and different weight from that dampening system. Now the bow only comes to you in 6 colors. You've got 4 solid color options and 2 camos, being black, OD green, smoke gray, flat dark earth, and then 2 camo options of mossy oak breakup country and realtree edge. Now this bow does come to you at a mapped retail of $12.99, and being right there with other flagship models, it's a little higher price point, but you're paying for those extra limbs. A lot of other folks are giving you up charges if you want an 80-pound limb set. So $12.99 is right there in the realm of where everybody else is at for a price point on this bow. Now we are going to step over and shoot this bow and give you some of the speed specs and noise ratings off this bow. Now obviously with this bow is going to be shot on 80 pounds and still doing it at 29-inch draw length with the 85% let off on these cams. Now we will be shooting it with a 400 grain arrow, but we're also going to shoot it on several other grain weight options to kind of give you a feel for where this bow changes from 350 to 500 grain weight arrows and the speeds that it gets. All right, so we've stepped over here in the lane with the Revolt X80, and we are going to take a few shots out of this bow, kind of give you an idea of where the speed rating is coming in on this bow, as well as a noise rating and the overall feel of the bow. Now, this bow we are going to shoot on a little different spec, obviously because it is an 80-pound bow. We're still shooting it at a 29-inch draw length with a 400 grain arrow, and then we're also going to include some other grain weights that we shot through it as well, and an 85% let off on this cam. So let's go ahead and take a shot with that 400 grain arrow and kind of give you a breakdown of the specs on this bow. All right, so with a 400 grain arrow, we got 311. So obviously being that heavier weight is definitely going to give you some more speed. And with a 400 grain arrow, that's pretty fast. I believe that's one of the faster bows we've shot. And but it should be, as to it's going to be 10 pounds heavier than anything else that we've shot through the Chrono. So just to kind of give you a breakdown of what this bow performs at other weights, with a 350 grain arrow, we got 330 feet per second out of it. And then with a 450 grain arrow, we got 294 feet per second. And with a 500 grain arrow, we got 280 feet per second, which is still smoking fast with a heavy arrow. But again, if you're wanting that extra punch and you want that extra weight with an 80-pound draw, this is going to be an option for you. Now, as far as a noise rating on this bow, the decibel rating came in at 97.6. And frankly, being a heavier weight bow and shooting it at 400 grains, it's really not that loud. It's a little louder than a couple of the other Bowtechs, but again, as you go up in poundage, that decibel rating is going to change. So overall, that's a nice, quiet bow, especially at 80 pounds. From there, the draw cycle on this bow, even though it is an 80-pound bow, frankly, you could probably feel like you're only shooting a 75 or so. It's a nice, smooth draw curve, comes over pretty nice, doesn't drop off on the back end, and it sits very well with that clutch grip system, sits in your hand extremely well. And even though it's 80 pounds, it's not a lot of effort to get it over. I shoot 70-pound on the regular, and this doesn't take a whole lot more effort to shoot this 80-pound bow. So if you're looking for that extra weight, just know that it's not going to feel that heavy when you draw it over, even though you are getting that 80-pound spec. Now, the aftershot on this bow, even though you're getting that extra weight, still very dead in the hand, still sits very well, doesn't have any jump to it as the shot goes off. It's really a great feeling bow at 80 pounds. And if it's something that you're looking for in the new Bowtech lineup, give us a call here at Mike's Archery and we'll get you set up with one.